So hello everyone. This is the first time I'm giving a presentation on macOS, and I'll just start with a small introduction of my profile. So my name is Snehasis, and I belong to Bhubaneswar from Odisha, that is in the east of India. And coming to my career, I have 7+ years of experience. I started in Windows support environment where I have started as an application packager, and then later I have moved as Mac support experience where I have worked on JAMF and Intune, and we also worked with ticketing tools like ServiceNow and BMC Remedy. So this is all about me, and today I'm going to explain on the topic of Microsoft Enterprise SSO that has been recently launched by Microsoft, and this is kind of a good work has been done between Microsoft and Apple, and they have released this SSO. So let us first see what is the Microsoft SSO, and then what are its features, its advantages, and so on. And also I'll give a demo on how it exactly works in macOS and how it is different from the Windows environment as well. If we talk about SSO, we need to understand what SSO is, and then what is the purpose, and then what is the requirement of it. Every time you log into any site in a browser, you always it always prompts you for a login to provide your credentials, and then it gets interesting when your credentials are different for each and other websites. Maybe it will be different for your login, maybe your device login, and then it will be different for each of the websites due to security concerns. And then every time when you have to remember number of passwords, it get very much confused for the end users. And then to prevent this case, they have introduced an SSO. So when we give an example in such a way that suppose you are entering to a property. Maybe a good example can be a park. When we enter to the park, they give us one band. They put one band in our hand, so anyone will be seeing that band. They'll be seeing that okay, this person has purchased this category of ticket, and then is roaming, and then they'll be understanding from that. Instead, if we don't go with a band, then once we enter the gate of the park, then again we have to show them that okay, what is the category, and if we have bought a ticket or not, and then also what are the services we can take in the park according to the different category. So likewise, the same has been implemented in the in the device as well. So the main agenda of Microsoft SSO, that as soon as you logs in with a company portal and the user ID you have given with the company portal, it will automatically fetch and it will automatically integrate with Safari browser. For now, it is only supporting Safari browser in macOS. Maybe later on they will include with Microsoft Edge and other browsers, maybe using APIs or third-party apps or so. So now, if we talk about how it works in the backend, so once you log into the company portal, it automatically authenticates. In macOS, it is company portal that automatically authenticates, and in iOS, if you are using and then you have to implement SSO on maybe company managed or BYOD devices, then it will be the Microsoft Authenticator app using which you can use the Microsoft SSO. If we talk about how it works, then as you can see here, if you can see my mouse pointer, or else you can see it in the picture that it says that once user need to install the application, that is obviously the integration application, and then it sends SSO extension, and then it approves the extension in the backend, and then gives approval to the site, and then it gets configured, and then user can easily use it. So I'll be showing it in a demo as well, and then I'll be also showing it how we can configure it in the Intune portal for the organizations that they want to implement SSO. So before we go further, I just wanted to mention that this Microsoft Enterprise SSO is not only for Intune, it is for other MDM platform like JAMF also can they can also implement this in their macOS devices if their devices are getting managed by other platforms. So in our scenario, which I'll be showing the demo, we are currently only supporting in Intune platform. So I'll be showing the demo only related to Intune platform, and then the configuration in the Intune and the company portal. So let's go next. These are particularly the advantages of using the SSO, then that that you have only a single password, that once you log into the MacBook, then you don't have to put the passwords again and again. It will automatically take it, and then it's better password for policy enforcement. So with one password you can play around with different websites, and then you don't have to remember it. And then it's single point for enforcing password is the same thing. And then it increases the productivity. So because your mind is not concentrating on what is the password for which website or which app, so you're concentrating on logging in and then doing your work, rather than sometimes it creates a very scenario where users have to log in and then it is keeps on failing, the login keeps on failing, and then it irritates users, and then it impacts business productivity as well. And also it less out of the IT risks. So particularly when we talk about the cyber attacks and everything, so SSO in that terms SSO helps in protecting the environment, because it uses the methodology which is hard for a cyber attacker to attack and then do the phishing work. And also we need to keep a point in our mind that SSO does not store any information with it. So it's not like we'll be saving the credentials and then it'll be saving the credentials in a server, and then sometimes we think like maybe our credentials are getting managed by other server and then it can get hacked. So it's not saving anything with it. So from that perspective we are good. And as the last line suggests that the user login credentials with the data stored in identity management service, so we'll be checking on that in a later point of stage when I'll be mentioning about the MSL app and the non-native MSL app. I can show you in a better way. Now talking about the features, the particular features that we have in MS Enterprise SSO. So this works phenomenally with Microsoft Azure AD, and this also has this requires some of the prerequisite or requirements before you implement the Microsoft Enterprise SSO. Like the SSO, the requirements can be like it should have the company portal installed with it, and then the device should be running on macOS Catalina or later, so it doesn't support on the previous versions of macOS. Now that we know that we are currently running on Ventura, and then also the latest macOS Sonoma has been released and we're checking the beta version, so it is it will be accepted on the devices running on Catalina or later on. And also Microsoft authentication like library, which we shortly says as MSAL, it supports that applications. Like we take an example of Microsoft To Do, or it also extends support which for the applications that doesn't support Microsoft authentication library. Let's say like the Microsoft Office that we are supporting, that we are using in Mac OS, is still doesn't support Microsoft authentication library, but it works phenomenally with that as well. And also it uses the authentication methods such as OpenID, and then it is how to say, like it connects with the authentication method like SAML and OpenID Connect and others. Okay. So yeah, at the end you get the end user, the smooth end user experience where it doesn't ask for the user login prompts again and again. And also while integrating or while showing or creating the configuration in profile in Intune, I'll show you the methodologies through which we can also ignore if in case it asks for the multiple user prompts, how we can ignore it, or how we can configure so that user will be getting the smooth end user experience. Because at the end we focus on end user experience, and then if that is getting interrupted, then we'll be getting a lot of questions, a lot of issues from end users, right? And before we move ahead, as I made a note here, so the Microsoft Enterprise SSO uses the primary refresh token. That is the new methodologies that they have implemented along with the Apple team. And I'll be showing you how what is primary refresh token in Keychain Access app. If any of you have worked on macOS, then you'll be knowing about Keychain Access, where it stores the user credentials. So next time when you log in, using the Safari app, it automatically takes the user credentials, and sometimes it asks for Touch ID, and then you can just give it, and then it will automatically take it. So using refresh token, even skip that step where it automatically locks in to that particular websites or apps that we have permitted for access. So as I have mentioned, these are the prerequisites before we implement SSO. These are the prerequisites that the device must be managed by Intune MDM platform, and macOS should be running on version 10.15, which is again Catalina or higher versions, and then company portal app should be installed on the device. So now let us check how we can configure in Intune portal, and then after that we'll be checking in how it will be implement it works in the end user device after the implementation. So I have my screen is visible to everyone. So this is the configuration profile. Sorry, Anna.
No, I said it's good. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So the configuration profiles, as you know, that you can get it under devices, and then you can go to macOS devices, or also you can directly go to configuration profiles. Okay, so I'm going to macOS, and then I'm going to configuration profile. So I'll just show you the profile that I have created, and also will create another one. So this is the profile I have created earlier back in April. So let me just go through, and then I'll just show you the settings. So while creating the configuration profile, you can select the device features under template, and this is the configuration setting that we have set. So I have set 3 configuration settings. One is browser SSO interaction enabled. This will enable the SSO for the again the Safari browser, and then disable explicit app prompt. So as I was mentioning, that some of the times it gives the prompts to end user even if you have configured the SSO. So to remove that explicit prompts, or the more prompts, to remove them and to give user and end user a good experience, we have given the value as 1, and then the app prefix allow list. In this we have to give the websites that we want the SSO to be enabled by default. Also, while we are enabling the SSO, we need to make sure we need to have that in mind, that the websites that use MSAL, again that is Microsoft Authentication Library, by default it gets enabled with SSO. The websites that doesn't use Microsoft Authentication Library, we need to give that manually here. So let me just go here, and then as you can see, I have implemented that, and then I have given 2 websites just for the common reference, and then I have implemented same way I have implemented the the keys, and then I have created this profile. Now if I go back and then create a new profile, so you need to click on templates, and then you need to click on device features, as I mentioned before. Let's create. So I'm just creating a sample, or like configure master device and explain the devices. Okay, so once you give the name and description, you go to configure settings, and then in device features there are multiple configuration settings, but we need to focus on single sign-on. So I'll directly go under the category single sign-on app extension, and we need to select again there are multiple, as you can see, multiple extension types are there, extension types are there, and then accordingly we need to select. So this works phenomenally with Microsoft Azure ID, and then we need to select Microsoft Azure ID, because that is the identity provider that we gonna use in our scenario. So if we don't have Microsoft Azure ID, and then you're using on-prem ID, then it might be difficult for you to implement, because MSO use the Microsoft Azure ID for authentication, and then it goes it takes the PRT, or it takes the details from Microsoft Azure AD, and then gives you back, and then let you log into the website. Okay, and then you can add the bundle IDs that has the that you want to enable Microsoft SSO, or if you don't have any of them, it's again optional. You don't have to put it, you can just ignore it. And then the key features, like as I have mentioned, like I have put one key feature as think app prefix allow list. Okay, same way we can block the prefix as well. So let's say I want to enable Microsoft, okay, and then I want to block, let's say Anup Sinayar, because I'll be using an admin ID for that, and then also this ID, I mean the ID that will be going to use in this account is not the same as this account. So I'll be showing you in the scenario as well. Okay. Okay. So, and the rest, you know that you need to select the scope and then go next. And I'm adding all macOS devices. And yeah, I'm just gonna implement this. I'm gonna create this. So as I already mentioned about the SSO that I have created, we will be talking about this because again the new SSO takes a bit of time to get implemented on the device. We'll try to see this. So coming back to the PPT, we have discussed now about the configuration we need to do on the Intune portal. Let's check how it works on the end user side. I'll just show you the quick video, and then we can go for the demo of this. So this is the video. I'm trying to log into office.com and it automatically launches the web page for me. So this is the video I've created, and then let me show you. This office.com is already open. Let me just maybe I'll try in a private window, because private window doesn't have any credentials saved. If I try in private window, let's see if it allows me. Yeah, as you can see, it allows me. Yeah, so it is giving two user IDs because I have I normally work with two accounts. Okay, it's taking time to load. Is it the same for yeah, okay, it's logging in. So this is the account, SDMD test account. And then if as an IT admin, we want to check what is the account that is enabled with SSO, we can log into company portal. Okay. Okay. So this is the company portal that you're seeing. And then this is the account that you're seeing, STMD test account. So let us see. If you can see, single sign-on has been enabled for this particular account. So this won't work with other accounts. If you have configured, then it's well and good. So whatever the account you have logged in with in the company portal, you have to use the same account. Also, you can go to preferences and also you can check this here. Okay. So if you see, don't, I mean, if there is an option, don't ask me to sign in with SSO device. If you make this, then it will be disabling for this account, and it'll ask you every time you log in, right? Now this works good in the Safari browser, but as I mentioned that it doesn't work with other browsers as of now. Let us see what are the details that we need to see to make sure that the profile has been implemented on the end user device. So if you go to privacy and security and then you go to profile section, so you'll be seeing the single sign-on profile that I have already, as I have already mentioned, that I have already implemented. So if you go here, and then these are the sites that it is by default taking, and then if I click on any of the site, let me just think, did it? No. Okay. So let me try the first site. If I go to the first site, it automatically locks in. Again, it's asking for, because both the accounts are signed in. So if you are using only one account, then it should automatically signs you in. It should not ask any password. If I try for others, it's the same thing. It should ask. Yeah. Maybe what I'll do is maybe I'll forget this. Okay. And then if I click on, let's try private. Okay. Let's try my applications. No, it's asking. Okay. In my application, sorry. Here I should try. So maybe US. It's directly launching the website. Okay. I think it's taking two sites because that has been saved in the keychain access. That's the reason it is interpreting both the user accounts, but in one case of user account, it will be working phenomenally with that. And as you can see that in company portal, because it has logged in with HTMD, it single sign-on works with HTMD test account only. So the main agenda of this is it should not ask you for the password. It should automatically let you log in. If I try with any other website, maybe I'll try with the same thing, but in a different browser, you may get it. So Microsoft Edge, then we can figure out what is the steps it is ignoring. So yeah, office.com. And then if you click on sign in, okay, I have already logged in here. Yeah, so if I give the account, so it'll ask for the password. Now Luckily, I don't remember the password, but this particular thing, and then also now that you know that in every single you enter the password, it goes for multi-factor authentication. It also disable that prompt as well. So these are the two things or two or three things that it will be disabling. It's not disabling, but I'd say it will skip the step and then it will go further to the next step, and then it will let you log into the system smoothly. So coming back to this, so we have seen this, and let us go to the troubleshooting. So we'll see the troubleshooting part in in a brief way, because when I say troubleshooting, there are multiple things we have to troubleshoot, and then it might take a longer time, but I'll try to give as much detail as I can in the troubleshooting part of that. But before to that, let me tell you what troubleshooting has been given to. So troubleshooting has been divided into two parts. One is deployment troubleshooting and one is authentication troubleshooting or application troubleshooting, right? So why it's defined in two ways and how it helps. So as you know that any application you or any profile you push through Intune, you should know how to troubleshoot in case of it gets failed in any of the devices, right? In any of the end user devices, end user is facing issue, you need to know where exactly it is facing, end user is facing issue. So we need to ensure that once the application or the configuration profile gets pushed from the Intune portal, it should show, we can go here in the Intune portal. um so yeah, and we can go to device assignment status. Okay. Yeah, and we can see in which devices it is success or it is failed. Okay, so also we can check the device details. Okay, if it is perfectly done or no. Let it just generate report. It normally takes some time. In the meantime, I'll just show the per setting status and what are the settings that we have implemented. So if you see the single sign-on settings that we have implemented, extension, it's showing that this is one setting that we have enabled on end user devices. If I go here, yeah. So in another MacBook we have, it is the status is showing as pending, and here it is showing success. So as part of deployment troubleshooting only, we are getting to know that if the device is pending or it is completed. Also, another way of checking this is the deployment troubleshooting checking is, you go to profiles again. We can go to systems, system settings, privacy, security, and profiles, or we can just launch Spotlight and then just type profiles, and then it will automatically launch. Okay, so this icon you see, extensible single sign-on profile with the ID. This is the profile. So if you see that this profile exists, that means the deployment is done. As we see here, it is success for this particular MacBook, and then this particular user ID, then this you can confirm. For particularly for this, it is not done. So that's the reason it is saying like pending. Okay, and then once deployment troubleshooting is confirmed, and then once you see this profile on the device user, it is verified and then it is installed, then you can go for application troubleshooting or authentication troubleshooting, where you need to see that where exactly it is failing, and then where I can check, I can get the logs, and then I can do this. So let us try the authentication troubleshooting on the end user side. So let's say any user says that the SSO is implemented, even you have went checked in the profiles, and then SSO is there, but the SSO is not working. So as part of SSO is not working, you need to check in the company portal if you see this single sign-on enabled, and what is the ID you see. If you see this ID, and then let's say the ID is HTMD test, and I'm using another ID, then every time I log in the Safari browser, even if I log in, then it will ask me for the user login and then the MFA, because that is not enabled for the other ID. That is enabled only with HTML test ID. I can go remove account and then I can change, but in terms to that, that I need to log in to the company portal using that account. Then only that will be in sync, so that it can get work on the end user device. Okay, so I'll show you the logs of the troubleshooting. So to see the logs, what we can see is, before we see the logs, I need to show you the details. So the extension that we have shown, that we have seen here, is Mac OS device features configuration Mac OS single sign-on extension. And if you see, it's Mac SSO extension, but it is using company portal, because this is the end user part where they have to show the extension. And then the type is redirect and credential. So there are two types of SSO. Okay, let me go to, yeah, two types of SSO we have. One is the redirect type and one is credential. So if we take an example of Microsoft Enterprise SSO, it is a redirect type. So what redirect type is does is, the OS intercepts the authentication request from the app, and it provides to the identifier URL defined in MDM configuration profile. Okay, so it takes the data, I mean, it requests the data, it goes to the identity provider and then provide the data to the service provider. Now, what can be the example of identity provider here and the service provider? Let's say we are logging into office.com. So what can be the identity provider here is the Microsoft Azure. So whenever I'm trying from Safari browser, it is directly redirecting to Azure AD. It is going there, checking with the username. Does this user exist? HTML test account, and then from there, if it is exist, then it brings that data from the Azure. I mean, it fetch that the request details from for HTML test, and then it provides to office.com. So that way it works phenomenally. But when we talk about credentials, so if any one of you knows about um keychain access work, so I'll just show keychain access. So what is keychain access? So um Apple works on the end user experience to make the end user experience smooth. So what does that means when you log into any site using the Safari browser, it tries to save that site. Okay, so let's say I'm going here. Okay, and it has not saved. Maybe I'll show maybe this one. Maybe try comes to if it's not saved. Maybe this one. Okay, so it is asking for one-time login, right? So this is our Mac login password. If I put Mac login password, then it will show me the password. Even once this will ask you for the first time, and from the next time it will automatically take what is the user ID. This is the user ID, and it will automatically fetch the password, and it will let you log in the Safari browser. So that is what credential types, or it uses the Kerberos, the previous methodologies of SSO authentication. But in redirect, it will not ask you for first time login also, because it is taking the login details of that we have provided in the company portal. So if you log in the company portal, automatically all the sites that you have provided, all the app prefix allow list, or the app bundle ID that you have added, it will automatically fetch the details from the company portal app. So they have implemented in such a way that it will not ask again um, for you, even for the first time also. So for the first time means the company portal. Okay, and we were talking about the troubleshooting point. So here, if you see on the right side again, this model shows like how easily you can troubleshoot with yes or no flow chart. So let's see, if your macOS is on version 10 Catalina or higher. If no, then it doesn't support directly. Then you need to first upgrade it, and then only you can do it. So second thing is the device enrolled? Yeah, if yes, then install the MDM. If it is installed, then go for the checking of the profiles, right? So if you see in the second point, it says if it is not installed, then install the MDM, right? And then if the MDM is installed, then check if the company portal is installed and logged in. So if the company app portal is installed and then you don't have the login details, then it won't work, the SSO won't work, because it will fetch the details from the company portal and then it will find the company portal as empty, so it will not do. Is extension profile visible in system settings? As I have showed you, the profile with the Azure ID details. So if it is there, then it should work. If it is not there, then you should check from the portal if it is success, if it is failure. Also, while checking this point, I can go to Intune portal. Yeah, and then I can go to Mac device, and then I can go to each device, like because I'm troubleshooting on this device, and then I can go to device configuration and I can see what is the status of this. Let's say this one, this is the one we are talking about. So this one is succeeded, where I have the one that I have sent or created now has error or failure. Okay, and then where it is failed, okay, it will show you the error code. Okay, like that we can figure out from the portal if it is success or failure, because once this is success, then only we can go for proceed further. If it is failure, then maybe what we can do is, let's say like it may be due to a network issue and then the configuration profile has failed, then simply you can sync the device from here and it will automatically get all the details and then all the configuration profile, the new configuration profile, the compliance policy and everything, it will get synced along with it. Also, if you're talking to a end user and then you want end user to sync it, you can do it. You can ask the end user to do it is, you can log into the company portal and you can click on this button, the options button, and then check status. So it does the same thing. So this is from the front end where the user has to sync. I mean, the request is coming from the user side to sync the device, where from, if I talk about this is coming from the IT admin side. Okay. Now, once that is done, what are the values? Check the values in the profiles and then check if primary refresh token is visible. So as I was talking earlier about the Microsoft authentication library, and then I said that it works phenomenally with the Microsoft authentication library. But because again, when we talk about the production scenario, there may be old sites that doesn't support Microsoft authentication library, or maybe there are third-party sites that doesn't have Microsoft authentication library and then it uses its own. So in that case, what it does is it saves the credentials in an encrypted format in keychain access. So if I go to keychain access and I search with primary refresh token, so if you see, I have two primary refresh tokens. Okay, and the account details is encrypted, so you won't be able to see this. As you can see in the Corboros, as I was showing you another one, in Corboros, it was showing direct the application account name, and you can go and then take out the fetch out the user ID. But for in this case, it takes with the ID, so it is authenticated, and then only the Azure can get these details and then understand, get it decrypted and then get your credentials fetched. Okay, so it saves the primary refresh token for the other sites as well. So that is how it works. And then check if single sign-on is working on Safari or no, and check if the bundle IDs are added or not, because for my sample, I have not added any bundle IDs. If you have not added any bundle IDs and then you think this app will work, I mean, is working on the other devices and not on this device, and then you can just sync it out and then check. Or maybe you can check in the profiles section, in the settings, that if that is there or not. So you see here, I have added the URLs, but there is no app profiles, sorry, the app bundle IDs. Okay. And if you're an IT admin and put you want to check app bundle ID for, let's say, Microsoft Edge browser, I'm just taking an example. So how you can check is, you can just go to terminal and you can run this command, OSS script -e and then ID of the app, and then you need to enter the name of the app. You can get the app name from here. So go to applications and go to Microsoft Edge. So this is the name of the app, and then I just went and then copy paste. Let me try from let me try for Google Chrome, let's say. So I'll go to Google Chrome and then I copied the name and then I'm pasting it here. Okay, sorry. So let me paste Google Chrome and then I'll just close the commands and then I'll hit the return key. So as you can see, the Apple ID for Google Chrome is com.google.chrome. So for any user who's supporting Mac in the in the starting or in the earlier of the career, and they don't know the Apple bundle IDs, the app bundle IDs, then you can easily check on the device. Okay, for each of the applications you can find the app bundle IDs, and accordingly you can add it in the Intune portal. Okay, and then if app is using Apple networking framework, so um as I have mentioned that Apple and Microsoft brought together this SSO. So this SSO is implemented on the workflow of or the framework of Apple networking framework. So let's say any third party site I'm trying to log in. It can be any random site, let's say like facebook.com, and that third party, I'm just taking an example of the site. It maybe it cannot be a social media, but I'm just taking an example. So if that site doesn't have the it has conflict with Apple networking framework, or it doesn't support Apple networking framework, then it won't support Apple the Microsoft Enterprise SSO. So we need to ensure if any sites are not working, we need to ensure if that site works with Apple networking framework or not. Then we can ensure if the SSO is working on the end user device or not. Yeah, that's pretty much from my side. Anyone has any questions?